And it's that time of the year again for the second round of the Nürburgring Endurance Series. So the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series. And welcome to the MAHLE 3-hour race here at the fabulous Nürburgring Nordschleife. At the moment, the qualifying is already ongoing, and we will have a look on the current conditions here at the Nürburgring. And as you see, the weather is quite hot out there. And as we had also an iRacing update, it's going to be quite interesting how tire will last for the next race here and the final race in the 2020 season before we go into the next round in next year in 2021. But first of all, we would like to see what happened in the first round in November when we were here at the Nürburgring for the first race of the winter season of the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series. So let's have a look what happened there in a couple of weeks ago when we were driving here for the first time. With all the cars on track, with the BMWs, with the Mercedes AMGs, with the Porsches, with the BMWs, M4s, and so on. So yeah, we will have to have a look on that before we head into the final race of this year's season. It's another 3-hour race we will see today, as you all know. That it's all in the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series, all 3-hour races. And this time we have we will talk about that later on, but we'll have some changes. There were some updates, as I mentioned, in iRacing. We had some updates in the balance of performance, driver changes, new teams. So it's quite interesting what happened in the meantime in the 3 weeks between the two races. But yeah, we will have a lot of time to talk about that in the next couple of hours. But as I said, first of all, let's have a look into the highlights of the first round we had here in November. And this is now what happened there. At the Nürburgring Nordschleife. And so we had the different brands over there, but BMW was dominating as we just wait for the highlights. And this time, I guess it's going to be a little more interesting in terms of what happened to the BMW Z4, as he's not balanced in the simulation itself. And but we will come to that in a couple of minutes. But now, here it is, the highlights of the first round of the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series. The 3-hour race we had 3 weeks ago, and here is what happened. 3 weeks ago, we've been to the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and it was a fantastic start to the season with the SP9 cars dominating by BMW, but also the Mercedes AMGs were quite strong in their performance. At the start, everything was quite okay, some context here and there. Also in Cup 2, we saw, as usual, close fights in this class, as well as in the SP10. It looked like a strong performance from Usher Racing and Core Sim Racing, and a strong fight for the next 3 hours in there. In the class SP3T, It started with a fright moment as Dean Ledger spun on turning in and braking for turn number 1 and got a little bit of contact with Core Sim Racing. In lap number 1 already we saw that fight as Laurin Heinrich overtook Sami Mattitrogen in approaching to Moot corner, but also in general hard and close fights as this group with Philip Eng, Philip Ellis and Jesse Crone with a little bit of contact between the BMWs, but all in all it was hard and fair fights the whole 3-hour race. Here as well in class SP10, a little bit of contact between Golombek and Fassbender. A couple minutes later, again the contact between these two, but the result was not as it was at Schwedenkreuz. So it was the chance for Team RSO to go in front. Fright moment again for Usher Racing here as a crash happened in Arenberg corner. And a lot of overtakes we saw in front of approaching Moot corner. The key moment of the race here, while Laurin Heinrich leapt the Cayman, the Porsche Cayman, he had contact and hit the barrier quite heavily, and maybe that cost him the win of the race. Another strong performance from Manfilter team HTP Winward, finishing 5th in between the BMWs, but in the end it was MAHLE Racing with Sami Mattitrogen and Alexa Arana who won the race after 3 hours in front of the second BMW from a BS competition. And finally, in the end, it was Williams Esports on 3rd position. That is what happened 3 weeks ago, and now we are live here at the 3-hour race, at the MAHLE 3-hour race of the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series. We are here live on board or on track with the Manfilter team HTP Winward, the Mamba so-called, as you all know, and all of them are on their outlap now, getting used to the track and being on the hunt for the first qualifying times. As we already saw, the qualifying of all the other classes, SP9 class is doing their own qualifying. Now on board here with Philip Ellis, the pro driver in the team. He's sharing the car with Alexi Iloma again and Jack Sackwick. These three drivers, they are sharing the car, and as regulations say, the pro driver has to do the qualifying and has to do the start. You see here Philip Ellis, I said, doing the qualifying. We have now the MAHLE 3-hour race going on, and then we have a short break of about 4 weeks before we head into the TÜV Rheinland 3-hour race in the mid of January. Then in the mid to end of February is the Nimex 3-hour race in the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series, presented by Goodyear, and then the final race will be in the beginning of March. H&R Team Urano, strong performance also from them in the SP9 class with their BMW set for GT3. So everybody, as I say, is on the hunt for their first qualifying laps. We have our different classifications in the Endurance Series. As you know, we have the SP9, we have the Cup 2, we have the SP10, SP3T. So all the different classes with all the different cars. But we also have another important new classification. It's called Deutsche Payment Championship. And it's a special classification within all the classes. So that means it's an overall championship for the best 3-positioned cars, for the pole position per class, per race, for the fastest lap in the race per class. So you can gain points and you can gain. You can be qualify in this classification for these criteria, and in the end, the Deutsche Payment DNLS Championship classification. You can win for the first position 1,500 euros. So the best positioned car within all the classes. So overall, it's not only SP9 or not only Cup 2. So overall, you can win 1,500 euros. Second position is still 750 and third 250. So it's quite a nice classification because it means you not only have to be the fastest and have to win every race, you have to have a look on your incidents, so off tracks, contact with different cars and so on. And yeah, it's quite an interesting classification we have there. So you should keep an eye on that as well. At the moment, in this classification in the Deutsche Payment DNLS Championship, Ascher Racing is leading in front of MAHLE Racing Team. So it's 2 or 3 different classes. So we have Ascher from the Cup 2 class leading. Then we have MAHLE Racing Team from SP9 in second. And in third position, or sharing second position with MAHLE, is Team RSO from the SP10. So you see, it's quite interesting. But coming back live here, as we have only 4 minutes left in the qualifying, MAHLE Racing Team. So they are leading again the standings at the moment with a 757.914 in front of their sister car, let's say, also with the BMW Z4. It's a different team, but it's the same car. BS competition. It's the 89 car, which is shared by Laurin Heinrich and Rainer Talva. So we just talked about that in the highlights with the unlucky punch they had in the Arenberg corner. And on third position, it's here Core Sim Racing GT3. With the starting number 3 is Sindre Setsas and Carl Jansson. They are sharing the car at the moment. So that's the standings. Currently standings in the SP9 class, while Core is coming back to pit lane. And Butler Pal Racing Motorsport, they are in all the classes. We had in the interview in race number 1, we had René Butler, so the team owner, and he was talking about his engagement in the different classes. So it is quite interesting because as they are coming from real racing, going into sim racing, and they connect everything. Connecting everything is also Manfilter, Team HTP. They are quite strong in the sim racing, coming from the real racing as well. As I say, Philip Ellis is behind the wheel at the moment with a strong 5th position. So they are right in between the BMW Z4s. In overall, we have 13 cars in SP9 class. We have 12 in Cup 2, 14 in SP10, and we have 8 cars in SP3T. Makes an overall of 47 cars for this race here, the MAHLE 3-hour race. On board with Nick Zalewski from Dürrenmatt Motorsport Club in SP9 class, also with their BMW Z4. And as I mentioned before, the BMW Z4 it's still in the iRacing service at the moment. It's still there, but it's not the newest car. As a couple days ago, the BMW M4 GT3, the prototype, was announced and also released on iRacing service. And as you see here, they are now going through the last corner and are now going into their final lap, because as we have 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the qualifying, it will be this one shot they have. So the BMW is it's still in the iRacing service, but it's not supported anymore, and therefore we have the M4 GT3, and we see all the drivers from all the different classes and all the different cars on the split screen now, which is a very nice feature we have there, all in the Zoom meeting. You see them, they're fighting or chilling. So some of them are driving and some of them are chilling because they just finished their they're qualifying the different classes. But when you see on the lower right, you see there's Schnitzelalm Racing, and they are on the racetrack. They are on the real racetrack. They brought their own simulator there, and I think they are at Portimao. It should be at Portimao testing, and they are racing in the pit lane, which is quite funny. So maybe we have one of them here in the interview booth as well. On board with number 101 is the team Heusingfeld Mercedes AMG GT3, and they are currently in 6th position, right behind the before mentioned Mannfilter team HTP Windward. So at the moment it's MAHLE in front of a BS competition core team BMW, the current champions of the championship, so last year's winners. Mannfilter in 5th, Heusingfeld in 6th. Keep on Racing, a strong 7th place. H&R Team Urano on 8th position. BS competition number 90 car. It's a new car, is Robbie Foley. Weizgewisser sharing the car there. They are in 9th. Schnitzelalm, I just mentioned, with Marcel Marcevic in a 10th position. So that's the top 10. But last but not least, I would like to mention the M and J Performance, which means Marek and Jan Performance. It's a very last minute entry. We had Marek Böckmann and Jan Philipp Springop. They are here last minute going into the championship, into that race. Close fight here between Butler Pahl. We see quite huge in the back view of the Mannfilter Team HTP Windward car. At the Bereich Steilstrecke going to carousel. Now Butler Pahl, roof cam going into carousel. All the cars being on a fast lap now, they are allowed to finish that lap. And then we will see who can finish on a pole position. The second qualifying of the season. The moment, as we see here, Mannfilter, they are fighting to gain. They are about 4 seconds off the pace of MAHLE. But MAHLE is strong again with BS competition, both under the 8 minutes. But then we have Core, BMW, Bank, Mannfilter within 1 second, 1.5 seconds. Here we are on board with Bruno Spengler, the pro driver for Team BMW Bank, sharing the car with Kai Kaschube and Nils Koch, last year's champions. Also for them, it will be the last time for the BMW, or sharing the car, sharing the BMW Z4 GT3. Next race, they probably will switch to the M4 GT3. And as BMW also announced, they will really use the simulation to develop the car, the real race car. And these drivers, both, so sim racers and real racers, will help to develop the M4 GT3. MAHLE Racing Team, this time they had a little driver change. So MAHLE Racing Team this time it's Sami Matitrogen and Dominik Steib, not Alex Arana. So it's Steib who is the second driver in this car. Again, strong performance. Last year as well, they were in close fights with a team BMW Bank. That's the Schnitzelalm Racing car who's be driven from a real racetrack, as they are. I still think it's Portimao, the Algarve track. And here we see them. So here they are, driving the car, and we see in the background their BMWs in the pits. I think they will have lunch break now. That's why we see the cars there. Later on, we will see them not standing in the pits. They will be on the rear racetrack. Yeah, as I say, I think it's Black Falcon in the background. So, and as they have their final test of the season, I saw Nico Bastian, who's not driving the DNLS this time, because he's testing at Portimao, so for sure it's Portimao. So, but here we are at the Nordschleife, and we see at the moment from Schnitzelalm Racing Marcel Marcevic on a 10th position. In front, there's no change at the moment, as we have thumbs up there from Schnitzelalm, as we still have MAHLE in front of BS competition. And a new fastest lap from MAHLE, 7:56.9. Also a new fastest lap from BS, but still slower a little bit, half a second, and 7:57.4. Mannfilter, they cannot improve. Heusingfeld could improve. Schnitzelalm jumping from 10th position into 7th position now. So, very strong performance from this team. And we have Nico Bastian. It's Nico Bastian watching, and the Schnitzelalm driver. So, I think that is passion to getting ready for the real track, but also watching what is going on at the Nürburgring, the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series presented by Goodyear. That's cool. That's really cool to see these guys. But here we see the new entry, the number 90 BS competition on 10th position at the moment in the Hohenrhein chicane. So a couple of corners, one right and then one left turn before they are back at the start and finish. And then we can see if they can improve. Still 10th position. No, 8th position. So they could improve. So Schnitzelalm back to 9, and they keep on racing in 10th position. And that should be the finish. Everybody, here we go. M&J Performance. Marek Böckmann is the driver at the moment. I think it's either way, because both are pro drivers. So Böckmann is pro driver, knowing very well the Nürburgring Nordschleife, as well as Springhoff is a pro driver, driving the GT4 Germany Championship. In 12th position, they are, with 8 minutes, 6 seconds, 0.524. Let's keep on racing, but they will go back to pit lane. Yes. That's it. That was the second qualifying of the season of the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series presented by Goodyear. Now we have only a couple minutes to go before we go into the MAHLE 3-hour race. And before we head into the MAHLE 3-hour race, we will have a look to the starting grid. MAHLE Racing on pole position in front of BS Team BMW Bank on third, front of Chorus Sim Racing GT3, HNR Team Murano, and Mannfilter Team HDP in 5th and 6th. 7th is Mercedes-AMG Team HRT Heusingfeld. Then we have the new entry BS competition number 90 car with their BMW set for GT3. That's the top 8 we see here. So again, a strong performance from the BMWs. As we have in the first 5 positions, it's all BMWs, and we have 2 Mercedes AMG. And we have in 9th position, Schnitzelalm Racing, Keep on Racing on 10th position. Then Dürener Motorsport Club on 11th, 12th, MNJ Performance. Then 13th position, Mercedes AMG Team HRT AM Solutions. In front of their sister car, HRT Team Bilstein. New entry there as well. Maro Engel is the driver, one of the drivers, sharing the car with Danny Giusa. Nimas Race Cars Esports on 15th, 16th position. We have H&R Team 5-star, and last but not least in SP9 class, Butler Pahl Motorsport. That's the SP9 class going into the Class Cup 2. H2 Performance SRT on pole position there in front of Usher Racing and the Sim RC Cup 2. MRS GT Racing at Deutsche Payment in 4th. At 5th is a Team Nürburgring Esport Lounge. Eibach Sim Racing, SE Motorsport, Butler Pahl, Rennwelten Pro Team, Wolf Motorsport Sim Racing, and Deutsche Payment at Race Union. Mark Henritzi is the driver there. Going into the next class, which is the SP10, Core Sim Racing and on pole, Undici Scuderia second, Team RSO, VRA Racing, Sim Racing, Sim RC, SP10, BS Hype, Keep on Racing, and Schnitzelalm Racing Youngsters. It's the top 8 we see there, going on with the 9th position car, which is the AMC Siegburg on 9th. BS Racing Esports Black, Mühne Motorsport Sim Racing, Race Tech Performance, and EPS Rennsport Esports is 13th position in this class. And last but not least, we have the class SP3T. Team Heusingfeld, again, another strong performance in front of Sim RC, Frozen Speed Full Send Racing, Sim RC SP3T Pro Sim behind there. In 5th position is Raceline Sim Sports, Low Grip Racing Team in 6th, Bernina Racing Team in 7th, and SHK Racing Yellow in 8th position. As I said, we have in total 47 cars in all the different classes. They will start now for all those who are not regular viewers. And they will start with gaps in between. So we will start with class SP9. Then we will have Cup 2. Then we have SP10. And last but not least, we will have the class SP3T, as we saw them also in the starting grid. And now everybody is getting ready for the first group in the second race. This is the MAHLE 3-hour race of the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series presented by Goodyear. That's the view to all the buildings, the pit lane building and the grandstands, Mercedes Arena, all the landscape around the Nürburgring. The Green Hell, they will ride through the Green Hell in a couple of minutes. It should be around 1 minute before we head into the start. And we are currently in the so-called gridding. So everybody is filling up the fuel tanks. And also there we had a couple of changes. We'll have enough time to talk about that in the next couple of hours. So now fuel the cars up, getting ready for everything. And then we see here everybody is in grid. One car is missing there at the moment in SP9 class. See, there's a little gap. Should be the Bilstein car. Mercedes AMG team HRT Bilstein. And they are now getting ready. And in a couple of seconds, they will start moving. And then we head into the 3-hour race, which is going to be very interesting, as iRacing had this update also in terms of a tire model and also the lasting of the tires. How long will they last? How does it affect to the Z4, as the Z4 is not balanced anymore, as I said, from iRacing itself? How will it affect to the Mercedes AMG? How will it affect to the Audi R8 LMS? So these are the cars in the SP9 class, but also it's going to be interesting how it will affect to the Cup 2 class as well. You see it up there, 1 minute and 20 seconds left before they go from the Taurus entry here, the short way to the start and finish. Everybody is in grid. Here we go. Here we see front left. That's the MAHLE racing team. And that's the first position car, the pole position car in front of BS Competition. And behind there, another 3 BMWs. And everybody is able to get the win, to win the race. Here, as we saw, close fights in race number 1. Hard fights, contacts. Key moments, as Laurin Heinrich had that contact by lapping a Porsche Cayman car at Arenberg corner, got hit and went into the barrier, which possibly costs him the win. So what will happen this time? Will it be MAHLE again having the best chances to win the race? Will it be a BMW or maybe Mercedes or maybe an Audi? We will see it in a couple of seconds as an SP9 class starts moving now. And they are moving towards Antoniusbuche, Hohenrhein chicane, and then start and finish before they see the green flag. Or the green lights. The leading car is in front of that group. And then as soon as the leading car will go into the pit lane, it's up to Sami Matitrogen to keep the speed and to start the field into the 3-hour race. Here we go, Hohenrhein chicane, everybody's close together. You see some gaps in between. Everybody is doing their own strategy on that. So maybe to gain already at the start. Here we go, leading car is going into pit lane, and we have the green light for the MAHLE 3-hour race here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife, the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series. Good start in front there from Sami Matitrogen, but also Bruno Spengler, who already jumped in second position. Laurin Heinrich on the outside tries to stay in front, but also Chorus Sim Racing in behind there already gained the position. They are now in a close fight with the BMW Bank. Manfilter still in 5th position. Everything looks fine at the moment in the Mercedes arena. No contacts, no crashes. It's now all the real pro drivers doing the start. Everybody's close together. As we see here, also Cup 2 is in the Antoniusbuche area, Antoniusbuche. H&R Team Urano with the contact there with Schnitzlheim. Schnitzlheim and Urano had contact there at the Advan corner, the right kink before the chicane. So they touched a little bit each other. And now here we go, Cup 2 class, Usher Racing. H2 Performance in front of Usher Racing there, and we go green there, green in the Cup 2 class. A good start from HN2 Performance, but a very bad start from Usher. They already have to defend against Deutsche Payment there, MRS GT, also Team Nürburgring Esports Lounge. They are trying to overtake there. Through the first corner, everything is going back into position. And then there we see locking tires, locking front left. And it should be all around Butler, Pahl, Eibach sim racing there, which is not very good when you have already locking tires in the first lap. Here we see class SP10. And the Core sim racing with Marius Golombek here in the orange and white car. The Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport, very slow speed, and now they go on. Now they go off for their 3-hour race. Golombek with a good start, but also there BS Hype with a good start, going to the inside, making the move to the inside. What a move there from Undici Scuderia, Manuel Weibel. He closed the gap that BS Hype cannot overtake, so BS Hype now already on third position, while VRA is defending, and now Usher is there. So very close together. Team RSO, winner of the first race of this season. They are currently in 6th position. In split screen you see SP3T approaching start and finish as well. Here we have Usher Racing in or Sim RC, sorry, not Usher, sorry, it's Sim RC Racing, Marcel Fassbender in 4th position. Now it's the start of SP3T class, and we have Team Heusingfeld in front, and then Sim RC again, so another car from Sim RC behind there, both of them. Frozen Speed, full send there, tries to move to the Sim RC car, but has to follow the outer line and cannot make the move. Now has to defend against low grip and Raceline Sim Sport in the Mercedes Arena. And here we are on board again. Same situation as we had 3 weeks ago. Again, Laurin Heinrich tries to move on the outside front, approaching Mood corner to Sami Makitogen. It's exactly the same situation we had, but now this time Trogen could defend his position, his first position, and Heinrich has to step back behind the MAHLE Racing Team car, the BMW Z4. But again, he's faster in lap number 1. We had exactly the same situation also, for sure, gaining because of the slipstream they have. Now on board, Laurin Heinrich, BS competition. And you see from the back camera, the gearbox camera, that speed they go through Hohe Acht. Now switching back to roof camera of Laurin Heinrich, going here into Wippermann, using the left curb, the right curb. There you can see it from Laurin Heinrich into Eschbach. Here there's no way to overtake at the moment. Then approaching Brünnchen. So here they are, Brünnchen. And now going into ice corner, but there's no way to overtake at the moment. While we see a replay here. No, keep on racing. Contact there. Contact, keep on racing with, it should be the BMW from Butler Pahl, I guess. They had contact in Moot corner. So with the unlucky end for Butler Pahl ending in the barrier. All the cars, all the teams, they have one fast repair, so they can go into pit lane. Either way, so both in on their own engine power or by towing the car. So when you escape, the car will be towed, so it will add a little bit of time for going back. And then they can do the fast repairs. The car will be repaired very quick. But the next lap after the fast repair, they have to come back into pit lane and have to do a 5-minute penalty stop. So they have to go into pit lane, have to wait for 5 minutes, and then they can continue. Here now on board with the BMW Z4 GT3 of H&R Team Urano. At the moment, Max Hesse is the driver, so the BMW Junior. He is following Philip Ellis. We are now on board with him here with the gearbox camera. Going into Antonius Buche. So he's too far away. Maybe he can try the move on the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit, but here now there's no way. Ellis over the curbs. You see, he's really pushing hard. And here we go. Lap number 1. And we see a change of the first position. Laurin Heinrich made the move in turn number 1 against Sami Matti Drogen, both side by side. Again, turn number 2. And now it should be done by Heinrich. Heinrich is the new leader of the race. And so we have BS competition number 89 in front of MAHLE Chorus Sim Racing. Team BMW Bank, Manfeld, Team HTP Winward, H&R Team Urano, Mercedes AMG, Team HRT, Heusingfeld, Schnitzel are BS Competition 90, and Keep On Racing are in Vision. These are the cars we have here in the top 10. But now it's Sami Matti Drogen following Laurin Heinrich. Going now onto the Nordschleife. So Drogen has to step back now. Has to wait for the chance. Next chance will be probably at Arenberg corner. So now try to stay close to the rear end of Heinrich's Z4. Through here and then around Flugplatz. Until Schwedenkreuz, and then maybe trying the move at Arenberg corner, but also Heinrich is clever enough to defend this one because he knows exactly where you can make the move. Here we go into Class Cup 2, and in Cup 2 class we have still H2 Performance SRT leading, Usher on second, SimRC in third position, Team Nürburgring Esports Lounge or Esports in fourth, Butler Pahl fifth, MRS GT Racing at Deutsche Payment in sixth position, Eibach Sim Racing Team seventh, VSE Motorsports by H2P in eighth, Rennwelten Pro Team in 9th, and in 10th position, it's VS Racing Esports Red. On board now with Usher Racing Team, and Martin Usher himself is currently driving the car. We see that quite often that he's doing the start of the race, and he is this time sharing the car in his Porsche 911 Cup car with Markus Irak. And he's really close at the rear end of H2 Performance. Thomas Asmussen, the pole sitter. And it's not so easy. As you see, he's working so hard at the steering wheel to drive this Porsche 911 GT3. This Porsche 911 Cup car, not the GT3. Probably there's a GT3 coming. But at the moment, it's still the Cup car here. But also right behind Usher, Martin Usher, is René Osterkamp from Sim RC in the yellow Porsche. That's the Cup 2 class we see here, fighting for first, second and third position. Then there's a little gap to Team Nürburgring Esports, the other black and yellow car. And now, while Usher is clever enough to use the slipstream behind Asmussen to save a little more fuel, save the tires, and maybe make the move on strategy over the next 2 hours and 47 minutes. Split screen again, and we see still Sami Matti Drogen at Steilstrecke. He is at the bumper of Laurin Heinrich. It is the other way around now, but Drogen is making pressure onto Heinrich and using the slipstream here as well. And Heinrich, he cannot go away. So he is there, and he's not much faster. So you see the high-level performance they show. Going into class SP10. Here on board with BS Hype. Seeing on the 4th position, seeing Team RSO, so the last race winners in their back now. Also here we see them fighting at the area of Schwedenkreuz. It looks like that the RSO and Nils Carstensen can maybe go quicker, tries to move there at Arenberg corner, but has to step back, going down now into Fuchsröhre. Also here at Adenauer Forst, it looks like that the RSO car can go much quicker. Nils Carstensen is pushing very hard, putting pressure on to Robert Heger. He's sharing the car with Marius Zug, so the BS Hype car. Here we see them. And in front of them, we have the Sim RC car. Also, Sim RC is in all the different classes. And that's the fight for 3rd, 4th, and 5th position. That's still the SP10 class. But here we go back to the lead. The change of the lead probably. Yes, Trogen makes the move in front of Hohenrhein chicane, and he is going back into first position. Oh, did he touch the wall? Did he touch the wall there? Exiting Hohenrhein chicane. Again, Heinrich trying the move on the outside now. Start and finish, side by side, close together. Guys, we are only 17 minutes in the race, but it's still a fight here. Close together between the BMW Z4 GT3s. And now again, Heinrich is pushing very hard to put pressure onto Sami Matti Drogen. Here we see them in the Mercedes Arena. Both of them, they are so-called hybrid racers, so they are doing both sim racing professionally and also real racing. Drogen is already experienced in the Nürburgring Nordschleife and on the real track. And Heinrich, he is the rookie champion of the last season, of the 2020 season of the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Making the move from Formula 4 into the GT cars. I think it was the best decision he just made, because it was okay when he did Formula 4, but then he just kind of exploded when he stepped into the GT cars. Also, Drogen is experienced, very experienced in the real racing world, but now they show off here again in the digital world how you have to conquer the Nürburgring Nordschleife. It's always just candy how when you watch them, how they just move and go with the car through the green hell. On board again with Laurin Heinrich. In the slipstream of Sami Matti Drogen. And as I say, we are about 19 minutes in the race. We expect the first pit stops after about 1 hour, a little more than 1 hour. And at the moment, this is also the current standing in the championship, as we have MAHLE Racing Team in front with 9.72 points, and behind it's BS Competition with 9.17 points. So it's 0.6 points just in between. Having a look into SP3T class, and we see there it's a Sim RC fighting with Team Heusingfeld and Frozen Speed Full Send. So again, these cars already well known in the DNLS. They are fighting again for first, second and third position, going now into Brünnchen. Team Heusingfeld, again, also both in the GT3, so in the SP9 class, and also in the SP3T class. And we are back here in the fight for the overall first position. MAHLE Racing Team still in front, and now again, it's now again here we go into the area of Laurin Heinrich. Now, as we just passed Bergwerk, he's now in the slipstream. Can he make the move again, approaching Moot Corner? In the slipstream now. Here he's close. There he goes. He's making the move to the inside. More speed. Can he make the move? Trogen is still there, but Heinrich again in front. So what a race it is so far for the first 21 minutes. Guys, we have 21 minutes. We have 2 hours and 39 minutes left. It's crazy. It's just a crazy race already. And these guys here fighting for the overall first position. Behind there we have with a little gap Cora Sim Racing, then another gap, and we have Mannfilter in 4th position. While we see here in SP3T class, Heusingfeld makes the move on Sim RC, and they make it. So new leader in SP3T class is Heusingfeld, Team Heusingfeld, with their driver Patrick Kubinci. Behind there in the Sim RC car is Felix Luding, and then Steen Ledger in the Frozen Speed Full Send car. That's the guy we saw in the highlights spinning in lap number 1, in turn number 1. But now, this time, he made it, and he's in the 3rd position now, fighting with these guys here. Felix Luding, we are on board with him. And in front there is Patrick Kubinci in the typical Heusingfeld colors. Team Heusingfeld, a couple of years already in their typical colors. Also, Sim RC in their typical black and yellow liveries with their main partner Usher. That's why I was just confused in the beginning, because they have that cooperation with Usher Racing. But it's the Sim RC car we see here with Felix Luding and Usher. Probably they are just preventing all the sim racing stuff, as Martin Usher is still, beside driving himself in the Cup 2 class, he is doing quite a lot of stuff, hardware stuff in sim racing. Going back to the leaders, Heinrich with a little gap to Sami Matti Trogen. Half a second it's in between them. As I said, and it's Cora with another 4.5 seconds. Now, but it looks like the Trogen is too far away, but we have seen that quite a couple of times, and you see it here again. Look at Trogen. He's closing the gap so quick. Now he tries the move on the outside. Again, exactly the same situation we just saw. And now, camera moving back. The camera is moving to the Mannfilter car. What is going on in front there? Can Trogen make the move? Yes, he made the move. Sami Matti Trogen again in the same place. He made the move against Laurin Heinrich. So they overtook about for the 4th or 5th time already. Trogen is making an aggressive move. Trogen is making a very aggressive move there to the inside. Pushing Heinrich close to the wall, to the pit wall. And it looked like maybe, probably they just touched each other as well in the back. As I just said, it's a fair fight. It's very close together and a hard fight in between them. But the car of Heinrich, we see here, VS Competition, looks okay. So there is no damage we can see so far. Going through the right kink at Van corner, approaching the chicane. And now they go back to the Nordschleife, as we see the replay here of Trogen making the move on the outside again. Exactly the same situation we had, and no chance for Laurin Heinrich. to defend and just stepping in behind Sami Matti Drogen, trying to make the move quickly again, also here at the end of start and finish. But as you know the result, Drogen is still in front of Laurin Heinrich. On board with Adam Christodoulou, Mercedes-AMG Team HRT Heusingfeld. It couldn't be worse, that long name of the team. Adam Christodoulou is also professional racing driver. I think he just extended his contract with Mercedes-AMG, and so the real racing pro driver, winning 24-hour race in 2016. He's driving the Heusingfeld car, and he's sharing the car already a long time with the guys. Jan Sendkowski, Mats Torgo Hutzfeld are his teammates. And behind there we have Marcel Marcevic in the green Schnitzel Alm car, also professional racing team, as we say. Marcevic is at the moment at Portimao, testing there, and now racing here at the Nordschleife. That's only possible in the digital world. Being on a real racetrack in the Algarve at Portugal and driving at the Nürburgring Nordschleife in Germany. Christodoulou under pressure of Marcevic, as we are just half an hour in the race. And we have a look into Cup 2 class. Butler Pahl here in the infight in Antonius Buche approaching Hohenrhein chicane. There they had contact with the unlucky end for Butler Pahl, ending in the barrier. He tried the move, and it was Till Norvik going now straight into pit lane. So luckily he was in front of pit lane, but probably we'll have to do the fast repair. Yes, he will do the fast repair, and then he has to wait or come back next lap for another pit stop. As I mentioned before, the rules are if you use your fast repair, you have to come back one lap after that into pit lane and have a penalty pit stop of 5 minutes. And you cannot combine this pit stop with a real a standard pit stop. So you just have to do the penalty, which is a big shame for the Butler Pahl team, because they're currently second in the Cup 2 championship behind Ascher. And here we see T in a class SP10. It's VRA, VS Racing and Mühlner fighting for 9th, 8th and 7th position. On board now with VS Racing Esports Black. Seeing there the blue and white car, that's the Mühlner car, and in front is the VRA Racing BMW here with the green mirrors. It's also a typical NLS car. So you see the Gitti car, you see them also with girls on track. So they have a full female team, not only drivers, also mechanics, engineers. So that's the idea in the NLS. And here we have them in sim racing as well. That's the Race Tech Performance car in 10th position. Christoph Petersen is the driver. And we go on board with him. They are at the moment in a 10th position also in the championship. And here we can see him. That's him. That's Christoph Pettersen. We just talked about him. And he is driving with an VR, with VR glasses. So most of the drivers, they have a dribble screen in front of them. But it comes more and more that you see these virtual reality glasses. And he's one of the drivers here using these glasses to have a better 360 degrees view around yourself. Then we jump back into Cup 2 class. Team Nürburgring Esports here with the black and yellow car. Going into carousel. And Sebastian Fiedelak, that's the driver. He's not driving at the moment, I would say. It must be René Kirchhoff now. René Kirchhoff is the driver at the moment. As Fiedelak just took off his VR glasses. René Kirchhoff also driver for Nürburgring Esports. At the moment, they are in 4th position. And here we just see that Schnitzel Marcevic could make the move against Christodoulou. Christodoulou now in 8th and Marcevic now in 7th position. So they changed position. A couple minutes ago, we just saw them in the other way around. But also, we saw that Marcevic was pushing and could go probably faster, and now he just made the move, and probably he goes now to close the gap to H&R Team Urano. Max Hesse, we see just the BMW just going into the right kink there. Marcevic is also the real racing driver for Schnitzel Alm. I'm wondering if once he just finished his stint, if he jumps into the real car at Portimao and is testing. Maybe we can find that out. Maybe we can find it out if he's is doing that, or maybe he just finished for today. He did maybe the morning session. Anyways, we can see him here, and he's driving there now. There you see the cars are on track, getting pushed back. So that is only possible in the digital world. So they just brought their simulator with them to Portimao while testing here with their real BMWs. That's Marcel Marcevic. So he's not, at the moment, he's not changed yet. Okay, his shoes, yes, but still wearing jeans and jacket. So I think he probably did the morning session. But that doesn't really matter. Okay, I think they also have enough fuel, so it will not be up to the fuel if they cannot make the race. But that's the wrong steering wheel, I see. He's driving the Mercedes AMG, so with a Ferrari steering wheel. Anyways, Adam Christodoulou is now pushing and putting pressure on Marcevic, while Heinrich still under pressure of Sami Matitrogen, but there was no change so far anymore. in terms of first and second position. Here there's no way to go around. No chance for Trogen without any mistake of Heinrich, and we know that Heinrich is a driver not making any mistakes or a very few mistakes. So they are still fighting there. While we see a warning for car number 109, MAHLE, for blocking. And I think that's the situation we just saw at the pit wall, when he just moved to the right-hand side and where he was blocking Laurin Heinrich. I think it's because of that. That's the situation we just saw when he made the move. Trogen made the move in front of Hohenrhein chicane, and then Heinrich tried to make the move again, and Trogen was just moving him into the pit wall. That's why Trogen and MAHLE Racing Team got their final warning, black and white flag. That's the current standings you see on the left-hand side. BS, MAHLE, that's the two cars we see here. Kore, Mannfilter, Team BMW Bank, H&R, Team Orano, Schnitzelalm, and HRT, Team Heusingfeld. Undici, Scuderia and Kore Sim Racing fighting for the first position in SP10. Marius Golombek in the Kore car, and here Manuel Weibel in the Undici Scuderia car. Golombek very unlucky as they were fighting in the last race very hard together with a Sim RC, Marcel Fassbender, currently in third position, and both touched once at Schwedenkreuz. Golombek just tipped the car of Fassbender, and in the area we are just approaching here, it was the other way around, and then they both spun into the gravel in the race number one. So both were unlucky, and in the end, Team RSO, all around Nils Carstensen and Nils Lorenz, they won. They won the race. But now, this time, Golombek, we see here, he's in a first position, defending against Weibel. So the Kore Sim Racing driver. And you can see there, it's different from all the views. Some are relaxed and some are very concentrated, while Golombek looks concentrated. He looks a little bit bored, but when you see his moves and with the arms and his concentration, he's really pushing. So it's not just a Saturday afternoon drive he's doing there. So he really has to defend, because Manuel Weibel is also a very experienced sim racing driver. It's not only that you have to be in SP9 class to be one of the pro sim racers. While we see here in Cup 2 class, it's the Gitti car and the Nürburgring Esports car with René Kirchhoff losing a position, and probably we see another overtake there from Rennwelten. Yes, they made also the move. And so now it's VS Racing Esports Red in front of Rennwelten Pro and Team Nürburgring Esports. We will have a short break in a couple of seconds before we are back here for the next stint in the MAHLE 3-hour race of the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series presented by Goodyear. So we will not leave you alone. We'll give you a little bit of advertisement, but we will be back soon. So see you in a couple of seconds. And here we are back again at the MAHLE 3-hour race of the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series presented by Goodyear, and we see that the sister car of the current second position, it's the BS competition number 90 car, Robbie Foley is driving that car, while we just switched to HTP, the Manfilter HTP Windward racing car, making their way through the field of SP3T cars, Sim RC there, Frozen Speed Full Send, we just see, and Heusingfeld, they just fall back from first to third position. We just see that here. So anything happened there? But still, with the car of the Mercedes-AMG GT3 of Manfilter Team HTP, still Philip Ellis at the wheel there. Team BMW Bank, Bruno Spengler in a fourth position. And that's what we see here, is that the H&R Team Urano with Max Hesse and Schnitzelarm Racing closing the gap to Team BMW Bank. Here they are at the Döttinger Höhe. So the gap was much more before we went into the break. Now Hesse is closing the gap. Hesse is closing the gap to Spengler, and now it's not only Spengler, it's Spengler, Hesse, and also Marcevic close together. Now first pit stop of the first position car. So MAHLE Racing, Sami Matti Drogen goes into pit lane, makes Laurin Heinrich to the new leader of the race after about 49 minutes. And here we see Max Hesse putting pressure onto the very experienced Bruno Spengler. So it's the BMW factory driver against the BMW Junior. Both in their BMW set 4 GT3, and Marcevic, he's having a look on that, and maybe he's the lucky one in his Mercedes-AMG GT3, while Adam Christodoulou cannot keep the contact to these guys. And that's the car I just mentioned. Team Heusingfeld in SP3T class. Now only in a third position, Patrick Kubinci. Something happened there as well. SMRC is back in the lead. Frozen Speed Full Send is in second position. And they go onto the Nordschleife for another time, as we have about 1/3 of the race done. Two new cars we have in the iRacing service is the Lamborghini Huracan Evolution GT3 and as I mentioned before, the BMW M4 GT3. And I'm very much wondering and looking forward when they will make their debut here, their first appearance in the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Championship. Because two fantastic cars we just see there, while we see the cars being lapped by SP9. And it should be that in split screen, that's the second position car, Frozen Speed, Full Send Racing. As I just said, Dean Ledger. I see him sometimes also talking to his teammates. You always have one guy driving, another guy is maybe spotting, or the next driver or the previous driver is spotting, saying, where's the car? He's laughing, he's just talking to his teammates. So he's having fun, he's having good fun. While driving here in second position in SP3T class, making the move to the left. Core Sim Racing SP9 car, the BMW Z4 just passed him. Good move from him. And now he's again at the rear bumper of the Sim RC car. And now one by one we will see cars coming into pit lane for their first pit stop. And probably we just saw MAHLE in the pit lane. He's trying to get out of the traffic because they were fighting close with the BS competition car, and making their move out of that traffic and that fight to not lose too much time while fighting. While we see here, that's we are on board with Max Hesse, and seeing him in front of him, Bruno Spengler. So that's the fight here for second, third and fourth position. Marcel Marcevic is the driver in the green Mercedes AMG GT3. And Spengler is under pressure. Spengler has to fight. Maybe his tires do not last so long, as the tire management of Hesse was better. Now they hit, Spengler hit traffic quite well. Max Hesse had a bit of bad luck there, but look at these camera angles and you see the speed they are going around. Hohe Acht, der Wippermann here. That's again Max Hesse. I'm wondering if he's still at the Nürburgring, because I know that he moved to Nürburgring. But I don't know if he's still there, driving there, because he had his simulator at the Nürburgring. He was living in a house there, sharing with his teammates the house or the apartment. And that's the SP10 class, Mühlner Motorsport, the blue and white car, Porsche Cayman GT for Club Sport, and the VS Racing Esports Black in the slipstream. Döttinger Höhe, here we are on board with Mühlner, the rear view, there's the VS car, close together. Now, as we saw that couple times, making the move, waving there. So Julian Reimer is in the VS car, while Phil Hill we see here in the Mühlner car. But everybody stays out on the track. And now again, the Kore is coming out of the pit lane. So Kore, they change probably. Pascal Stix is now in the car, making the move to Mühlner. Okay, that was a surprising move for Mühlner. Phil Hill was a little bit surprised that Pascal Stix is making that move, and now Stix tries to also overtake already Julian Reimer on the outside at the shortcut. Here we see that's the current leader as they were in the pit lane, as they did their pit stop already. Now trying to sneak in there and making the move, but also on the outside the VS car is staying there. Now the Gitti car is on the inside for the chicane, but can he make the move? No. Steps back. He noticed that Pascal Stix in the Kore Sim Racing Porsche GT4 Club Sport is faster than him. And there's no need to fight with these guys. Another lapping moment. While we have now the next cars in the pit lane. Team BMW, Bank is in there, Williams Esports, Alex Arana is in the pit lane, and BS competition number 90. So everybody is now going from SP9 class into pit lane. Here we see them in the pit lane: Schnitzelalm, Heusingfeld. And there was a very long stop for Mannfilter Team HCP Winward. They're still in the pits. No, they are out now, but they have a very long pit stop, while all the cars are around 45 seconds to 1 minute, depending on their laps they've done. They were in the pits for 1 minute and 30 seconds. They were third in the standings before the pit stop, while we are here on board with Mats Torge Hutzfeld, taking the car over from Adam Christodoulou. So now the pro racing driver, Adam Christodoulou, out of the car. And Mats Torge Hutzfeld, the pro sim racer, is taking it over. BS competition, Laurin Heinrich still on the track. Also Kore Sim Racing with Sindre Setsas, still on the track. And that's the only two cars from SP9 not having done their pit stops. We are in the 7th lap. We are in the 8th lap, having done 7 laps. And now we just have to wait until everybody was in pit lane to have a clear view of what is the current standings. But it's not too easy, because as MAHLE did their pit stop 3 laps before BS and Kore, they are on different strategies. So that is not too easy to expect what is going on while we are here on board again with Mats Tore Hutzfeld on his rear wing. It's just amazing to listen to that sound of the cars, and that's why sometimes you just have to be silent to listen to the sound of the cars. And now, as we did or have seen the first pit stops, we have our first guest here. So the first guest just arrived here in our commentary booth, and it's Marius Golombek driving for Core Sim Racing in the SP10 class, and now Pascal Stix has taken over the car. So Marius, welcome here. It was a good try for your first stint, as we just have seen. Now you are currently in 5th position, but with some cars not having done their pit stops. How is it going so far?
Hey Jan, yeah, it's going good so far. First stint's been great. No mistakes, no issues with the car. Had a good start, and together with Manuel Weibel we're able to break free from the BMW powertrain. And yeah, so far so good.
You were a little bit unlucky, I would say, in the first round of the DNLS a couple of weeks ago. When we have a look back to that, because their fight with SimRC, Marcel Fassbender, was just amazing to see. That little touch in Schwedenkreuz when Fassbender saved the car, and then on the Grand Prix circuit, you guys just had a little bit of contact, spinning out, both of you. So that was unlucky. This time, it's again a close fight. Manuel Weibel was, or is still close at your rear bumper. But is it another approach this time, or still pushing for the 3 hours?
Yeah, I mean, last time you just need to be so aggressive with the Cayman, since if you're fighting BMWs, they just have more power out of the corners, turbo engine, and then they have more top speed because of a little bit less drag. So it's like you can gain a lot in the corners, but every time straight comes up, you just you get caught up. So that it's very easy for the BMW to stay close, and there's almost no way for a Cayman to actually break free. So we've changed the strategy a bit. I think last time we were just a bit too aggressive early on, which also led to the spin. And this time we've changed the strategy, and now we're trying to see how that fares.
And you just are saying that the BMW, the M4 GT4 is quite strong. We had also a little bit of changes in iRacing as we had the updates, the BOPs, and so on. Did it help with your Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport, or was it more the other way around, that you lost a little bit against the BMWs?
I think the VAP got adjusted a bit, so we now have 18 kilos instead of 13. Arguably 5 kilos doesn't really change much. I think the BOP hasn't really changed with the update, but it's overall, I mean, it's a very close category when it comes to lap times on the Nordschleife, but the cars are just so fundamentally different, since you now run a turbo-engined BMW against a naturally aspirated Porsche, and it has its strengths or weaknesses in all the different parts of the track. So.
When you guide us a lap through the Nordschleife, what is your weakness with the Porsche, or what is your strengths where you can? So is it more like using the slipstream and having the attack at the end of the straight, or is it more in the technical parts? What can we see with the Porsche here in the SP10 class?
Yeah, overall, I think the BMW is strong out of corners, so especially slower corners when there's a long straight coming up, like the long straights on the Grand Prix circuit, start-finish, most of all like Flugplatz Schwedenkreuz, but especially the uphill area. So when you reach Bergwerk and Hua, as well as Döttinger Höhe, of course. I mean, Döttinger Höhe alone is like a second gain for the BMW over the Cayman. So that's definitely where the BMW is strong. And wherever there's heavy braking or slower corners, just the handling of the Cayman makes it better in those sections. So it's 50-50 over the last.
50-50. Can you just play a little bit also with a strategy in terms of fuel and tires? And as we just also heard that there was an update on the tire model in iRacing. So is there kind of possibilities in strategy, or is it just flat out from green to checkered flag?
Yeah, for this race, we've actually also changed the maximum fuel that you can take in the car. So there's been a BOP update about that. And now both the BMW and the Caymans can take a full tank of fuel. It's a bit more fuel that the BMW needs, since it also uses a bit more. But overall, that changes the strategy to now a two-stop strategy. So I think everybody here will only do 2 stops and then swap the driver in the middle. So you have 2 driver swaps overall. And that's what we're seeing from both us and Undici Scuderia from Cedric here, who's now in the car for them.
So we are in 1 hour and 52 minutes to go. So we expect one more pit stop. So will it be you again in the car for the last stint, or what is your strategy with the car, with the Core Sim Racing car in the SP10?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Pascal will now do the middle stint against Cedric, and then both of us are going to switch drivers again for the last one, I think.
So, best of luck, Marius Golombek, driver of the 301 numbered car, Core Sim Racing in an SP10 class. So you guys are currently in the overall standings in 3rd position. I mean, it's very close together. We just had one race. It's a little break in between now before we head into the 3rd race. But thank you very much, Marius, for taking the time in between your stints. And crossing fingers for you that we still see these close fights as we just saw in the first hour, which was just amazing.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. Undici guys are really fast, so I think we're shaping up to a fantastic race here. Still almost 2 hours to go.
Thank you very much, Marius, and good luck and best of luck for the rest of the season as well.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Marius Golombek, the driver from Core Sim Racing, giving us an insight into the racing with the Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport. He's not only the driver here, I don't know if we can say that, but I think so. I just do it as he's working for the Porsche, for the company Porsche, doing a lot of sim racing and responsible for sim racing there, and a lot of things coming. So while we had the interview, we just saw the close fight here for the cars. We just see here Schnitzelalm, Heusingfeld, H&R Urano, M&J Performance. Once again, it's Marek and Jan, Marek Böckmann and Jan Philipp Springop. Their last minute entry, currently in 9th position, and if I'm right, it should be Springop in the car, correct? Springop is now in the car, the grey and blue Mercedes-AMG GT3 in 9th position, while we have, I am missing, HTP is in the pit. HTP is still in the pit. Something went wrong. Alexei Iloma should take over the car, but anything went wrong. He's for 3 minutes and 15 seconds there. So because I was missing them, because they were 3rd in the standings, as I said before they went into the pit lane, and now they are just dropping back 24th overall with 3.5 minutes in pit lane. But I'm still wondering that Laurin Heinrich, he's still driving. We are in the 9th lap. So 8 laps done in the 9th lap of the MAHLE 3-hour race here at the Nürburgring Endurance Championship, the digital version of it. And here we see the This is the move from Jamo Hertling against Jan-Philipp Springop on the outside at Lauda corner, and then braking for Bergwerk, and he just made it around. Is Jamo Hertling also at Portimao? Maybe we can find that out as well. So M&J Performance now in 10th position, and Mats Torge Hutzfeld putting pressure on to the car. We see here the grey car of Jan-Philipp Springop, and there we see Torge Hutzfeld. And as I say, I'm wondering, still, BS and Cora not in the pit lane. So it's now, if I'm right, 3 or 4 laps in between MAHLE and BS in terms of strategy, which is very important to keep that in mind when it comes to the end of the race. And still here, M&J Performance. Fighting for their top 10 position. First appearance in the DNLS. Also driving in the ADAC Sim Racing Cup. Both of them in a Mercedes AMG GT3. But the green Schnitzelalm racing car, he is faster. It's Jamo Hertling. He's faster because he can just move away. And it looks like that Torge Hutzfeld is also way faster. He tries to move in the ice corner, but there's no way around Jan-Philipp Springop. Probably Torge Hutzfeld, he will make another move at the end of Döttinger Höhe. Now jump at Pflanzgarten, and we jump into the SP10 class, Team RSO. We see here. And while we see Team RSO fighting with Sim RC, it's the Gitti driver, Lukas Lang, we just saw there in split screen. Now here, Sim RC going into 4th position. Team RSO in 5th. Nils Lorenz against Matthias Schoger. Both together side by side through the Mercedes arena. And anything happened to Mannfilter? I just have to come back. Mannfilter, Team HTP Winward. While we see here still the fight, Team BMW Bank coming out of the pit lane. Now it's Kai Kaschube. Kai Kaschube, who took over the car from Bruno Spengler. He's just making his move. He's moving away also from HNR and so on. And now we see here WS against Rennwelten. Rennwelten just makes the move, going into 5th position. And Mannfilter, they went into pit lane for another 5-minute stop. 5-minute stop is for me always the penalty stop after a fast repair. So they did the fast repair. Maybe I will check if there's Philip Ellis available. And let's have a talk with Philip Ellis. and ask what happened there. And that's the Cup 2 class. The Cup class with all the Porsches. The 911 Cup cars. And still having a look on the current leader, which is still BS competition in front of MAHLE, but now they were in the pits. Okay, now because it is not possible to stay that long out, so it was my mistake. So everybody was in pit lane. It just didn't say in my timing here they were in pit lane, but it's not possible to so many laps. So it's BS competition. Laurin Heinrich still in the car. Sami Matti Drogen in the MAHLE car is still driving. In the Chorus Sim Racing third position car, it's Sindre Setsas still. While we are here at the fight, Sim RC leading SP3T in front of Team Heusingfeld and Frozen Speed Full Send. That is a class SP3T. Means Jürgen Frank, Marcel T and Lars Bohl, the drivers here currently. Third position car in the Cup 2 class is the MRS GT Racing at Deutsche Payment. Deutsche Payment, I just mentioned that in the intro of the MAHLE 3-hour race here. We have a special classification, the Deutsche Payment Championship. It's an overall championship in between all the classes, SP9, SP10, Cup 2, SP3T, all the classes. And there, it takes into account the first, second, third position per class, per race, pole position per class, per race, fastest lap per class, per race. So everything is counting together. And also the lowest incidence you have. And you get always incidents, as you maybe not know. While we see here the replay of the overtake of in the Cup 2 class. So Marvin Otterbach just passed Jens Hartrampf there for third position. And Deutsche Payment Championship, when you get incidents for having contact with another car or going off track and so on. So when you have the lowest incidents, you get also classified for that. And in the end, we have in all the different categories in the different classes an overall winner, and you can get 1,500 euros for the first position, 750 for the second, and 250 for the third position. So very nice idea from Deutsche Payment, who are our title sponsor of this championship there. So just coming back to that, and Usher Racing, they are currently leading in that one. So the 227 car, the Cup 2 car. So it's not all about the SP9, it's also Cup 2. So Cup 2 is leading in front of MAHLE Racing Team, the SP9, and the Team RSO SP10 car in third or sharing the second position. Also Team Heusingfeld sharing the second position. That's the SP3T car. So all the classes on the first 2 positions, so it's very close together in there. BS Hype is the current leader in SP10. So that's the car we see here. Robert Heger is the driver. Undici Scuderia, 14.5 seconds in front of them. For Undici Scuderia, it's Cedric Nebelsieg in the car at the moment. Core Sim Racing, we just heard Marius Golombek. He got out of the car. Pascal Stix is in the car now. And on the 4th position is Team RSO, Nils Lorenz. In front of Sim RC, Matthias Schoger. VRA Racing, Jordan Kelly. VS Racing Esports Black, Gordon Obermann. Racetech Performance, Marco Poya is the top 8. Here we see in the background, that's the Core Sim Racing car. It's the 3rd position car, and RSO here, Team RSO, Niels Lorenz. And then we have Sim RC, Matthias Schoger, as just mentioned, in his BMW M4 GT4. VRA, Jordan Kelly, I just mentioned, he has quite a huge gap of about 1 minute to Sim RC already. After around halfway through the race, everything is quite settled, and we have quite a stressful first third of the race with a lot of lead changes. We just see here 377 car. It's the EPS Rennsport Esports. Patrick Steuer is currently sitting in the car. I'm just waiting for the answer of Philip Ellis. To ask what happened to the Manfilter car, because they were in a strong 5th position in the first race. Now they're not able to repeat this one. And we are here back at the SP9 class. Schnitzelalm Racing still putting pressure on Sebastian Schmalenbach, who took over the car from Max Hesse for H&R Team Urano. J-Mo Hertling is in the Schnitzelalm car, and Mats Torke Hutzfeld is driving the Heusingfeld car, while this is the fight in the Bilstein car. Bilstein car just took over Danny Chiusa, sharing the car with Maro Engel. And they are in 11th position. Core Sim Racing, Karl Jansson driving there. And in front of them, that's the M&J Performance car of Jan-Philipp Springop. So here we just see the fight for top 10. On board, we were on board with the BMW Z4, but we jump into the change of the lead. Heusingfeld, Team Heusingfeld in SP3T just made the move. Marcel T just made the move against Sim RC, Jürgen Frank and Lars Bohl. He's still in that fight as well. And again, back into lead, Jürgen Frank. So it's always what we see in the SP3T class, a back and forth with the changes in the lead. A lot of overtakes in that class with the slipstream and the strategy. And I was not wrong. No, we had another pit stop already. As I can see, Rainer Talwar took over the car from Laurin Heinrich. They are now only in 5th position. Just jumping a little bit from the fight here, 10th, 11th and 12th position. As Danny Chiusa gained and lost a position, so stood in 11th as the Core Sim Racing, the driver Carl Jansson passed him, and both of them passed Jan-Philipp Springop. But also it's important to see what's going on. Rainer Talwar, as I said, just took over the car from Laurin Heinrich. And so let's see how that continues. Yeah, Sebastian Schmalenbach, H&R Team Urano. Here, right behind the Schnitzelalm Racing car of J-Mo Hertling. That's all about the 6th and 7th position. Passing the Core Sim Racing car of Pascal Stix. And that's gonna be a close fight here, because Mats-Toko Hutzfeld is also closing the gap. To Hertling and Schmalenbach. So currently we have MAHLE in front of Team BMW Bank, Williams Esports on 3rd, BS Competition number 90, Rein Barneveld is the driver there, is on 4th, BS Competition number 89, Rainer Talwar only in 5th now, Schnitzelalm 6th, H&R, Team Urano on 7th, Heusingfeld, Mercedes-AMG HRT, Heusingfeld is in 8th, Keep On Racing, RN Vision STS is in 9th, and Core Sim Racing is in 10th position, while this here is the number 287 car in the Cup 2 class. It's currently driven by Mark Hennerizzi. They are in 8th in the Cup 2 class. Deutsche Payment at Race Union is the team. Going through Flansgarten here and just listening to the car a little bit. What a sound it is! in the Porsche 911 Cup car on board with Marc Henrici. Going back on Döttinger Höhe now with less than half of the race. So we are halfway through. And we can see Marc Henrici here sharing the car with Alex Autumn. And there we see a crash. We see a crash of the leader of the race. There's a crash of the leader of the race. MAHLE Racing Team in trouble. MAHLE Racing Team is in big trouble. And what happened there? They were facing in wrong direction on the start and finish straight. And here we have the replay going out of the pit lane. Oh no. Oh no, oh no. That looks like a hardware problem. Hardware problem. He cannot steer the car anymore. He cannot steer the car. Dominik Steib, and we know Dominik Steib had some kind of problems before. So he had these kind of problems before with his connection and with his hardware. And now again Dominik Steib. What a race it is. Dominik Steib going back from first position back to 10th by having issues with his hardware. And now I'm just checking the second screen. He is still driving. He is driving, but he lost just too many positions, and the fight in front there is just too close, as we have the new leader Kai Kaschube from Team BMW Bank in front of Williams Esports, Alex Arana sharing the car there now. Alex Arana, who was winning together with Sami Matti Drogen race number 1. Now he's sharing the car with Jesse Krohn. So Williams Esports, Krohn and Arana in second position, and BS competition Rainer Talwa and Laurin Heinrich in third position. So that is very interesting what happened there. Again problems with Dominik Steib. And we are still here on the Deutsche Payment car by Race Union, Marc Henrici. Just to let you know why we are so long on that car in the German stream, we have the interview with Alex Autumn, so the teammate of Marc Henrici is in the German stream, and so that's why the car was so long in the picture. But now we go into the fight again in SP3T. Sim RC in front, Jürgen Frank in front of Marcel T from Team Heusingfeld, and Frozen Speed is in the third position. And that's Lars Bohl still in the car. Here we see them. And right in between, there are some cup cars lapping the top 3. That is the chance again for Bohl to close the gap to T and to Frank. And we have for the last couple of minutes before we head into a short break again, we have Philip Ellis with us, and Philip is a driver for, as you all know, Mannfilter Team HTP Windward. Philip, we just saw a strong performance from you from the start and also in qualifying, being in third position. But then, what happened at the pit stop as you had to do another pit stop, penalty pit stop, I guess? Was there a fast repair?
Yeah, so hi guys. Unfortunately, we had an off after Arenberg on my in lap, which is very frustrating. So basically, hit the exit curb a little bit too hard. Not much different as it did all the other laps, just a bit too much, and it spun me straight into the wall. So had to crawl back the entire lap, try not to crash the car on the way back, and then we had to take a fast repair, which is a 5-minute penalty. So that's the time we lost, unfortunately.
And it's a big shame, because as we just saw, the MAHLE racing team still, or again, Dominik Steib again in big trouble. Hardware problems, I guess it was. We have him in the picture now also here. He was in the pit lane, went out and just went to the left into the wall. Probably again hardware problems. So it would have been a very good chance for you guys to fight for the win here. But now, is there anything still possible? You are in the 17th position in SP9 class. So what is the goal now?
Well, first thing, it's really bad luck for Dominik. It sucks to have hardware problems. It's probably similar to have a mechanical problem in the real car. So that's not his fault. As of my driver error was my own mistake, so that's a bit different, of course. But until then, we were in a good position to fight for the win as well. Now, as you said, with his problems anyway. And now it's really just salvage as many points as we can. It's a long season still. We saw it last year, even when you have 1 or 2 DNFs, there's still everything in it. And so yeah, we're in the long run. And now we just have to see where we end up at the end. I don't think we'll make it into the top 5 or anywhere close to that after the 5-minute pit stop penalty. So whatever we take, we'll take it, and heads up to the next race.
We had quite a huge update on iRacing also, in terms of BOP. Did that help you guys with the AMG, or how did it affect you guys?
It certainly brought us closer to the BMWs, and there's a big change in balance, so to speak. So the BMWs, for example, are super fast on 1 lap now, where we have no chance. But in the long run, we tend to catch them on pace, which basically happened in the race as well, where I couldn't really keep up with the lead pack the first 2 laps, and then I started closing down the gap again. So that's very interesting, of course, which will change next race with the new car coming, with the BMW M4. And the reason for this is basically because the cars are driving on 2 different tire models. So the Mercedes and the Audi have the new tire model, which just came out recently, while the Z4 is still running on the old tire. So there's a bit of a balance change in both cars, but for that, to me, honestly, it felt pretty even out. So I hope it'll be similar or the same with the M4 coming as well, that we can actually fight with the BMWs.
Thank you very much, Philip. As we just go into the break, into the Edward break, thank you very much for giving us these insights, and we crossing fingers for you guys to gain a little more positions after being unlucky at Arenberg corner, having a fast repair and then a 5-minute penalty pit stop. Thank you very much, Philip, for taking your time, and crossing fingers for you guys also for the championship. Thank you very much. See you soon. So Philip Ellis, driver for Mannfilter Team HTP Windward. Unlucky there, and not unlucky you, because we take a short break now, and coming back for the last stint of the race, going into the final hour. Before then we switch, or we go now into the break before we switch into the final last hour. So see you soon, or see you in a couple minutes here at the MAHLE 3-hour race at the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series. So you see in the split screen, it's gonna be very interesting to go there. Here we are back again at the MAHLE 3-hour race at the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series, powered by Goodyear. And we are currently on board with the VS Racing Esports black car in the SP10. So it's the Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport. And we see 109, the 100 number 109. That's the MAHLE Racing team car. Getting stop and hold penalty for 60 seconds. Stop and go penalty, 60 seconds for reckless driving. That's Dominik Steib. Most probably that's because of the move he made on the start and finish when he just went back or reverse on the start and finish straight while having the issues with the hardware. So this car here, MAHLE Racing team, they have to come into the pit lane. They have to do a pit stop. Or stop and hold penalty for 60 seconds. So that means they will lose again a lot of positions as Dominik Steib. He fell back to 10th position, is now back to 7th. And we see M&J performance and also Mercedes-AMG Team HRT AM Solution, Florian Denzler, coming into the pit lane. Having their pit stop. Schnitzelalm in the 2nd position currently. But as Team BMW Bank, Kai Kaschube had the 2nd pit stop, as well as BS competition number 90 and Williams Esports. André Böttcher is the driver there. So now everybody's coming into pit lane, having their 2nd pit stop in SP9 class. And so that means we have to wait for another couple of laps until we have the ranking. And we see there Marcel Marcevic in a Portimao having fun in the pit lane. Oh, we see the cars there going out for another run, the real cars, and on board with Jamo Hertling being in 2nd position, so they can be quite happy. Here they go. Schnitzelalm Racing in the wet, as I see it right, the wet Portimao. And the dry Nürburgring Nordschleife we see there. Jamo Hertling, see him working in the car. Braking for Arenberg, corner here. So at the moment, everything is settled again. We just wait for the leaders to pit. Rainer Talva sharing the car with Laurin Heinrich, while we see here Schnitzelalm, Heusingfeld. They're close together. The BMW in between is a lapped car. So it should be Dürener Motorsport Club, I think. Dominik Spieker. So that's not for position. And crash for the Eibach car. We were live on there. Crash for the Eibach car in the area of Pflanzgarten. So on lapping here the Sim RC car, because that's the leading group of the SP3T, we just saw that the Eibach car went off with an impact in the barrier at the area of Pflanzgarten, or right in Pflanzgarten. Here we have the replay going in onto the curb, and then he lost the car. So that's a shame for the number 251 Eibach Sim Racing team, Lasse Krosch. A little bit of contact with the barrier there. He can continue, but you see he just touched the curb a little bit on the inside. Car was unstable, and then he could not hold it on the track, and he crashed into the barrier. And back on board with Jürgen Frank. SB3T is the class. Audi RS3 LMS is the car. Here we see Marcel T following him. These guys will also have to do one more pit stop before they head into the final stint of the race. T is closing the gap, but you see he's not. Oh, there's the Eibach car again. Hello. He is not even trying to make any move, because he wants to stay in the slipstream. He wants to save fuel. He wants to save tires. That maybe on strategy, he can make the move in there and not on the track. Eibach car, Eibach Sim Racing team. That's the one having the small contact with the barrier. Lasse Krosch, we see him here. And he's currently in 9th position. In the Cup 2 class. That's how it looks when you sit in your simulator, in your rig, being fully concentrated and driving a cup car in the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Championship, presented by Goodyear here at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. All these guys, they are full in race mode in the tunnel. We are 1 hour and 4 minutes still in the race, still to go. And in front we have the change, I can tell you, while we are on board here with Eibach Sim Racing and having a replay, a very nice replay of the Eibach car going sideways in Mercedes Arena. Lasse Krosch saving the car. And we had to change that Heusingfeld, Mercedes AMG team HRT Heusingfeld just made the move on Schnitzelalm as they went into pit lane. So now Heusingfeld second, BMW Bank in third position. BS competition, Rainer Talva still on the track. And let's see how that will end up. Having a look into Cup 2 class. Now, as third position, the team BMW Bank. Kai Kashuba, that's him. That's the driver of the team BMW Bank car. Last year's champions. Together with Bruno Spengler and Kai Kashuba and Nils Koch. Fully concentrated in his simulator, in his rig. Shaking his head there, maybe he's not so happy. And they are currently, as I say, third position with a gap of 29 seconds to their sister car. As they are called Team BMW Bank, but it's BS competition is the overall team. Rainer Talva is 29 seconds ahead. Last lap time was 8/10 slower than Talva. Rainer Talva is a pretty fast guy. First appearance was last time in the first round of the DNLS. And that's the fight from the first lap on. The fight in SP3T class. We have SimRC leading the race, or leading the class here in front of Team Heusingfeld and Frozen Speed Full Send. They are as close as we see it now together since lap number 1. And that's with now less than 1 hour to go. It's gonna be a very tough final stage. And we just wait for the leaders to do their final pit stop as well. Everybody's coming now into the pit lane as having their last pit stop, their final pit stop. So we are waiting for a BS competition. We're waiting for Mercedes-AMG Team HRT Heusingfeld. We are waiting for H&R Team Urano, for Core Sim Racing, for these guys here in SP3T. So everybody should come into pit lane in the next couple of laps. Here they go. Here they go. As I say, Sim RC going into pit lane, Heusingfeld as well. And Frozen Speed stays out. Frozen Speed stays out for another lap. But that move from Heusingfeld looked like just a move like if they decide to go in, we do it as well. To not having the undercut. So it looked like they just moved because the other car just moved. Car goes up. Quick service for the SP3T leading group, while Frozen Speed Full Send Racing last ball is still on track. Here, that's the pit stop. Now Heusingfeld is quicker. Heusingfeld was a little bit quicker. Cars on the tires and they go on. No. Still Sim RC in front of Heusingfeld, and now it's just up to Felix Luding and Patrick Kubinci. They are in the cars again. They know each other quite well, not only from DNLS but also from other racing series, and but also from the beginning of the race. And now they are fighting the last 56 minutes and 30 seconds for the win, the victory in their SP3T class. That's the leader. Rainer Talva pitting now. Rainer Talva, he is pitting now, as well as Mercedes-AMG Team HRT Heusingfeld, Mats Torge Hutzfeld, and also Kai Kaschube, Team BMW Bank. Was that Kai Kaschube? That's H&R Team Urano. There is Heusingfeld. No, it was Urano. Incorrect. Team BMW Bank is also once again in the pit lane. I didn't really expect that. They have to go, okay. But anyways, we have now Jan Sendkowski in the Heusingfeld car. We have Laurin Heinrich back in the car for BS competition. And we have Nils Koch in the BMW Bank car. So that's Laurin Heinrich. Currently in third position. That was the last and final, or their second and final pit stop. While we see Team RSO in a third position in SP10. Nils Lorenz is still the driver of the car. And here we have H&R in the split screen, as well as BS competition number 90 car. Rein Barneveld was the driver. And now it's Beitske Visser. Beitske Visser is the driver. Our female driver in the number 90 BS competition car. Oh, she's also experienced now in sim racing. Started with that quite from the beginning, and now doing quite a lot of stuff. While we have here AM Solution, Florian Denzler is still in the car in that one, in the AM Solution car. That's M&J Performance Jan Philipp Springop still in the car, while we have all the drivers in our Zoom meeting, in our video chat, to see how they perform in their sim racing rig and talking to their teammates and team managers and team captains. So, still with Team RSO number 397. His Lorenz is the driver at the moment, while his teammate is being interviewed in the German stream. Niels Carstensen. And they are sitting in third position, quite comfortable. Now they're in second position. Yes, because Udici Scuderia, Manuel Weibel was in the pit lane. We see him just behind. 2.5 seconds. It's the gap now. And Marius Golombek, as he mentioned to us before, he is back in the car, in the Chorus Sim Racing GT4 car. Having a look into the different classes, we have at the moment Chorus Sim Racing in SP9 in front of Williams Esports and BS Competition, Laurin Heinrich. In Cup 2, it's H2 Performance SRT in front of Usher Racing, still no change there. And BS Motorsport by H2P in third position. In SP10 class, it's Chorus Sim Racing in front of Team RSO, the car we just see here, and Undici Scuderia in third. And last but not least, in SP3T, still Frozen Speed in front of Sim RC and Team Heusingfeld, but Frozen Speed has to do their final pit stop. They have to do their final pit stop to come one more time into pit lane, so Sim RC will be in front there. That's BS Competition number 90 in the fight with the Bielstein car. Danny Giusa, Mercedes AMG Team HRT Bielstein, fighting for 8th and 9th position. And while we see Danny Giusa with a big mistake by Danny Giusa in Moot Corner. That was a huge mistake he just made. Danny Giusa, he crashed the car in Moot Corner. He had kind of a situation in round number 1. We see the replay here going a little bit off and then touching the grass, and he could not avoid the crash into the barrier. The car is heavily damaged. When you have a look to the front, and then he tries to get the car back on track, crashed into the barrier, reversed once again. What a shame. He's sharing the car with Maru Engel. And what a shame for Danny Giusa, while we see it here once again going out. There's a little bump. And then he just went wide and could not hold it. Full on the brakes. And Beitzke Fisser was just lucky not to crash into Danny Giusa there. So unlucky once again number 4 Mercedes-AMG Team HRT Bielstein. The teammate of this car, or the sister car, is the Mercedes-AMG Team HRT Heusingfeld, and Adam Christodoulou, who was the qualifying driver and also the driver of the start. Adam, welcome, first of all, here. And,
thank you.
And it's not looking too bad for you guys, as you are currently in 4th position. Core Sim Racing still have to do their pit stop. They're leading currently, and so it's running well.
Yeah, it's going all right. So we're just trying to do some number crunching now to actually figure out who is where. It looks like BS Competition, us, and one of the other BMWs are all on exactly the same strategy. It's just core. We're trying to figure out where they're going to filter in. In fact, they've just pitted now, so we're just waiting to see where they're going to come out.
Yeah,
in fact, I'm on board with them, just watching them.
It is quite interesting to see Core Sim Racing is coming into pit lane now. They're just pitting. So Sindre Setzas is in the pit lane now, so that will make you going into 3rd position. But what is the key? What was the key? Because you did it like you guys did it kind of undercover to go to the front there. But what was the key to go up there?
It's been tough. Like, in fact, Core's just left the pits. I'm just trying to figure out.
Yeah, second position.
No, that's good. Yeah, so
22 seconds,
which is good. So I don't know. We had an idea with our strategy, honestly, with the changes that have happened with iRacing the last week or so. We were a bit unsure how we're going to do tyre degradation. We've been working a lot on the setup this week. There's been a new tyre model, and so I don't know how much this has been covered, but basically all of our previous setups were thrown out the window, and so we've been having to figure out how to optimize the setups. It seems like the cars have all slowed down a little bit, but the weather conditions are all also extremely hot right now. It's 44 degrees track temp, and this is playing games with us all, I think, because it feels like the tyres are just cooking out there, and so we're a little unsure on how it's going to play. The BMWs ended up with more weight as they're on the older tyre model, which is a little bit different. That's why it looks like they've been able to stint and a half their tyres, whereas for us at the moment it's not possible to do that in these temperatures. And so been interesting understanding and trying to figure out who's on the correct strategy. Like, normally there's 2 strategies out there. You either 2-stop or you 3-stop, whereas actually for this race people have been doing a 3-stop strategy with only 1 tyre change, or 2 with 2, and it's been a complete mess. So we've been trying to figure out roughly where everyone is. We're as you said, it looks like we might be in P2 right now, so we just need to make sure that we can get to the end of the race as well, because the other thing was, will we get an extra lap in this race or not, and have we put enough fuel on? So we've sort of gambled. We think we've made the correct decision, so we'll find out, I suppose, with about a minute to go towards the end of the race, whether we're going to be splashing and dashing or not.
You just mentioned that the whole week long you were working on new setups, as iRacing had a huge update and some patches, and also BOP changed in the DNLS as well. Take us with you in such a week. How much effort put you in there doing the setup with your team? I mean, Jan Zentkovsky, Mats Togo Hutzfeld, they are really strong in that. So how is the week going on?
It's been incredible. Like, basically we put our original setup on and the ride heights were all incorrect, and so we had to change all of this, and then in the end it's like, man, this just isn't working. So actually we just went to the baseline setup that iRacing gives you, like, right, let's start from scratch. And so that's where we've been trying to understand how low we can get away with running the car without smashing the floor, because there's 2 or 3 areas of the circuit where you can bottom out and it damages the car, and then of course once you damage the car then you end up with a bit of extra drag on the straights, which you don't want. That's why when you look at the BMWs, they've looked like they've hit a few things, but it's just because they've bottomed out. But they seem to get away with it a little bit more than than we do with the aero. And so this week, basically from Monday night, I've been on the sim for at least 3 hours with the boys just doing setup work. The only night that I had off was actually last night. As it's like, if I continue, I'm going to burn out. So I took a night off just to make sure that I still have a girlfriend at the end of the week as well. So we watched a bit of TV last night just to relax, and then this morning I was straight back on the sim basically at 8:30 in the UK, just testing, and the track temps have been really high, and it's caused a bit of chaos actually with our setup. Honestly, we haven't been happy with how the car has felt during this race, but we've stuck in there, and at the moment it's looking good. We just have to see whether we can fight off and get to the end of this stint against the other BMWs around us right now.
And when you do that kind of setup work, is it just going into the simulation driving, or do you use also software to analyze? And because in iRacing it's quite huge, because you can get all the data out of the dampers and engines and drivers and so on. So do you use that as well, or is it just all about the feeling for you as a driver in the car?
The more information you can have and the more you can understand it, the better. And so from the real world, I use lots of different data softwares, and for iRacing we use something called MOTEC. And so we download the data. And basically how we started off this week is we were just doing one lap stints, just trying to improve the balance of the car. And then towards the end of the week, once we were starting to get more comfortable, then we did a few longer stints. And during that, we can measure the tire temperatures during the lap, and you can see that in the hotter conditions it just creeps up all the way through the stint. So you end up monitoring tire wear as well, because that's another thing that's very important. And it is incredible. So yeah, we use MOTEC, but I also use something called Race Laps, which gives me all the other cars' lap times as well, and what positions they're in and what times they're doing. And I have Crew Chief that tells me if I'm losing in sector 1, 2 or 3. Obviously around here there's many sectors. And then I also use a software called CAPS, which is where you can compare the setups. And so we're using as much as we can. And of course what we did is we sort of got to a rough stage where we were happy with the setup, and then we sort of said to each other, right, okay, go and do your own thing and change what you think would make it better yourself. And then we compared it all. And this is how we got to the setup that we're running today. But we made, halfway through the week, we made a massive step, and we transformed the car. Like, honestly, at the start of the week I was scratching my head thinking, oh no, this is not going to be good at all. I just, from the times that we used to do, I was thinking that I'm really going to struggle. And at the start of the race I felt quite good, and then lap 2, 3 was looking good, and then the temperature in the track just went up, and I seemed to just make a few little mistakes, cook the tyres, and honestly I wasn't happy with how the end of my stint went. But at first I was thinking it's me overdriving it or something, but it actually looks like Matt's struggled a little bit towards the end of the stint, and I suppose it's I started doubting myself, and I was thinking, God, what am I doing? Why am I making these mistakes or losing time? But actually I think it's just track conditions are so hot that everyone's suffering. So in the end it's actually looking better now. Now I think the final pit stops are cycling through. It's looking pretty good.
We are now under 40 minutes to go, and you are second, or you and your team, you are second in the overall standings and in the SP9 category. So yep. We're crossing fingers for you guys, Adam.
Thank you very
Adam
much.
Christodoulou, and thank you very much for giving us these very detailed insights and in how to develop a setup in iRacing or here for the DNLS. So thank you very much, Adam.
Thank you very much.
And we just have in split screen that the Koch Sim Racing just passed the BMW Bank car of Niels Koch. So it's gonna be an interesting fight with you guys probably.
To fight between themselves. That would be nice for them.
6.5 seconds to your car. So thank you very much, Adam, and best of luck to you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers. And we just swap drivers. We just do the quick change, and it's a change within the team. Adam Christodoulou just left, and Mauro Engel, he just joined us. Welcome, Mauro, here. And Mauro, how was your qualifying and how was your first in? Because you were the start driver. How was it? If he would be there, probably maybe he can hear us. Here we go. Here we go. Mauro, I just ask how was your qualifying and your first stint, because I mean it was a couple of days ago since you made your first appearance in the sim racing, but I saw on your Instagram and whatever you were practicing quite a lot, right?
Unfortunately, not a lot, or at least not Nordschleife on iRacing. We played a little bit with my teammate Vince. I mean, it was fun. It was good. It was an experience. It's quite a different mental approach to the real racing. Right here in DNLS, for me, the mental approach is to try to survive. So it's a bit of a different approach for now, but I guess you have to start somewhere. You have to start learning somewhere, and it's as well. You're a father. It's quite tough when you're home with the family. Then you obviously want to dedicate a lot of time to your child. So finding the time is the biggest challenge, but it was fun. And obviously with Danny, I've got someone with me who's got a lot of experience and who's extremely fast.
Danny just had a big moment and unfortunately crashed in Moot Corner. So he went into the barrier, unfortunately, because he went with the right-hand side onto the grass, just lost the car. But I know you guys were practicing together. How does it look like if a Mauro Engel, how many races did you do? I just read it. 34, 5?
This year?
Yes.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot of races, obviously, and it's a fantastic position to be in.
But when you do like 30 whatever races in real racing, and then Danny Giusa told me I cannot participate in another race because I have to practice with my teammate. He didn't tell me who it is, but I knew that's you. But how does that feel when such a pro is teaching you racing in sim racing? Dirk Müller, he told us last time, you have to really have another approach, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you drive everything the way you're used to driving the real car, you know it yourself as well. It's unfortunately not very fast. So there's a lot of learning to do. And to understand, especially the tricks that you need to understand from sim racing and how to extract speed. And obviously, it's a big learning process. So you never stop learning, and so it's great to have some advice from these guys that are so quick.
Before we head into our short break, one last question, Mauro. Will it be the only appearance, or will there be some more of you in the DNLS?
Let's see. I mean, I would be interested to do some more, but also that's the only way to get better, I think. So let's see how it goes. I don't exactly know when the next one is, but I believe I heard it was in January. So let's see. I have obviously a bit of a break until the next race, so maybe I can continue to improve and then race again and be a little bit more competitive.
Ganz kurz. Ich will es nicht, glaube ich, schon. Ja, wir sind schon in der Werbung. Alles gut. Alles gut. Alles gut? Mauro? And we are back at the MAHLE 3-hour race of the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Series presented by Goodyear. And we, just before the break, we had Mauro Engel here in interview, giving us some insights as he had his second race in the championship. In the first season, his first appearance, now his second. And so it's interesting how they feel and how they approach. Also, Adam Christodoulou giving his insights because he is in a much more professional approach in there, analyzing data and so on. But coming back to the racing, we see here the fight for third position. The team BMW Bank with the driver Nils Koch here in a picture is at the rear bumper of Core Sim Racing, Sindre Setsas. We just saw a couple laps ago the overtake of both. And in second position, it's Mercedes-AMG Team HRT Heusingfeld with Jan Zentkowski, and leading the race is Laurin Heinrich for BS competition. So it's a BMW Z4 GT3, then Mercedes-AMG GT3, BMW. So there's one AMG also. Adam Christodoulou told us in terms of strategy, they just made it in between there. And here we can see them. We can see the Heusingfeld AMG overtaking, now lapping the BS Hype SP10 car. And that's the second position car in Cup 2, Usher Racing. Usher himself did the first stint in the beginning of the race, and now Martin Usher is again in the car, and that's the leader Marius Golombek for Core Sim Racing in SP10 in front of Team RSO in second position, and Udici Scuderia in third position. So Golombek and then Nils Lorenz and Manuel Weibel are the drivers. And last but not least, we also have Class SP3T. And there it's still SimRC, Felix Luding in front of Team Heusingfeld, Patrick Kubinci, and Frozen Speed Full Set Racing, Steen Ledger. Since we have that from the beginning of the race, while Ledger have to leave a little more gap to these two guys. It's about 4 seconds gap now. That's first and second position here, and then 4 seconds gap to third, Ledger. We are on board with Patrick Kubinci and can see in front of him that was Felix Luding from SimRC. "26 minutes to go." And here that will be a last minute or even last second decision in SP3T. All we see here the car of Steen Ledger, third position car. Maybe can gain a little more because of the fight of SimRC and Team Heusingfeld. While we jump into the BMW Z4 GT3 of Jan Maszakowski, Keep On Racing, Orange Vision STS is the team. In front of him with a lot, kind of problems there. M&J Performance, it's the team. And at the moment it's Marek Böckmann, the driver, the Nürburgring Nordschleife experienced driver. So it's about 12th and 13th position. First of all, it's important when you have your first attempt here in the DNLS, making no mistakes. Then you will have a good result in the end. And that's the goal for Böckmann and Springop in the M&J Performance AMG GT3. While defending here against the Keep on Racing Aaron Vision BMW in front of Mood Corner. And Maszakowski makes the move. Maszakowski now in 12th position and Böckmann back to 13. "23 minutes to go." Having a look on the second screen, the leader just crossed the finish line. So that means we have from now on 3 laps to go. 3 laps from now. And that's the fight. Nils Koch and Sindre Setzers for the podium. While in the background we see Daniel Pastor from H&R Team Murano in 5th position. MAHLE Racing Team, they was for a long time leading the race in 9th position after hardware problems of Dominik Steib. Matti Trogen is now the driver again in the car after they having also for reckless driving having had a penalty. Why? Oh, there was a little crash. The Cup car, the Cup Porsche went into the pit lane and Nils Koch didn't expect that, had to brake and Setzers crashed into Nils Koch. Was no heavy crash, but still it can affect, as we heard from Adam Christodoulou as well, it can affect the drag of the car. So let's see if we have any negative effect on that. That's about the lead, about the victory in the SP10 class. Golombek, Sim Racing in front of Team RSO in 2nd position. Nils Lorenz, we can see here. And then behind both of them, it's Undici Scuderia Manuel Weibel. All 3 are very close together. And it's gonna be hard work for Marius Golombek. He just mentioned it in the interview before that it will be a tough fight in the end, as exactly these 3 cars are same level. Golombek, Lorenz, and Weibel. That's the leading group here in class SP10. And Golombek is defending in his orange and white Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport. The best non-Porsche in the SP10 class is Marius Zug for BS Hype on 4th position, so right behind that group, while we see Golombek, while we see him here working, fully concentrated. And knowing exactly, talking to his teammates, Pascal Stix, knowing exactly what's going on, because now Lorenz will make the move. Maybe that was what Golombek told them. They will catch me now. Three wide together. He's watching, you see his eyes, you see Golombek's eyes in the middle now. He makes the move behind Weibel. Weibel is now in front. Weibel from third to first on one straight, while RSO, Lorenz and Golombek next to each other into Antonius Buche. Whoa, what a move it was. Weibel now leading in front of Golombek and Lorenz. So Undici Scuderia, Chorus Sim Racing and Team RSO. That's the leading group in SP10. 17 minutes to go. And still, you cannot tell who will be in front in the end. And Golombek is pushing. Golombek is pushing hard. We know from him that he can be not unfair, but an aggressive. So he really knows where to stick his nose in. And so he tries to put even more pressure onto Manuel Weibel. That's the leading group again from SP3T. So both leading groups. Up left corner, that's SP3T, and split screen on the right hand side, that is SP10 leading group. SimRC is leading in front of Team Heusingfeld in SP3T. Undici Scuderia, Chorus Sim Racing in Team RSO is the leading group in SP10. And now it's all up to tire wear, fuel, slipstream, you know exactly on track position where you are, where you have to be, because as we saw, Golombek was leading, and once they come onto the Oettinger Höhe, you have no chance because of slipstream to defend your position. So it is very much up to strategy, where to be at what time, to really not to be getting catched in the last lap. So that's why probably such a Golombek, even Weibel and also Lorenz, they don't want to be in front on the Oettinger Höhe, because then you have no chance, you have no slipstream. as we saw Weibel coming from a third position into the lead because of slipstream and so on. So it's that's one thing we really have to focus on and keep an eye on it. That's again the jump to SP9 class for the podium. Chorus Sim Racing, Sintresetsas, Team BMW Bank, Nils Koch. And also these two guys know each other quite well from the different series and categories they are driving in. Both having the same car, so it's the same situation for both of them. But who can handle it better? Who can make the move in the end for the possible podium? While we are here in split screen on Zetsas, we see in the up left corner SP3T, Heusingfeld, Kubinci made the move against Luding. So now Heusingfeld, Kubinci in front of Felix Luding in the Sim RC car. Minutes to go, and that means we are in the penultimate lap for the leading group and also for these guys. So this lap and one more to go. While we have the leader here and just lapped the two Cup 2 cars, which is Wolf Motorsport Sim Racing and Eibach Sim Racing team. We can see here fighting for 7th and 8th position, Merlin Mark Wolf and Luca Alpert are the drivers. Wolf in the grey car, while Alpert is in the red Eibach car. Going over the bridge at Breitscheid. And now he touched the curb. And you could easily see that the car was just jumping to the left-hand side, so he was lucky, Wolf, that he could save it. We saw kind of same situation already, where you can easily lose the car and end in the barrier. And even with the Porsche Cup car, it's like on the real track. It's not so easy with the Porsche 911 Cup car to drive here on the Nordschleife with all the bumps and no ABS system. So it's very, very tricky to drive. Now Albert tries. Albert tries the move and makes it. So Albert did the move on Merlin Mark Wolf. Here we see him. That is Luca Alpert in the Eibach car. And now Albert, he can easily go away while some connection problems for Team Heusingfeld. Connection problems for Team Heusingfeld. Connection problems for Team Heusingfeld. Team Heusingfeld is out of the race. They are currently in second. But I can see on my second screen that iRacing itself, because if your internet connection is too low, iRacing can kick you out itself. And it looks like Team Heusingfeld is out of the race. Team Heusingfeld is out of the race because of connection problems. What a shame for the team. Now it's kind of easy for SimRC. Felix Luding is the driver here of the car. But Patrick Kubinci is out of the race and now out of the fight for the victory. What a shame for the team. So now we have SimRC in first, Frozen Speed in second, and Low Grip Racing will be with Christian Schmitz in third position. What a shame for Kubinci and Team Heusingfeld with such a strong performance in the last. They were kicked out from iRacing itself in the last 8 minutes of the race. What a shame it is for these guys. But it's kind of a technical failure you can have. As we saw Dominik Steib having hardware problems, probably with his steering wheel coming out of the pit lane. Now also these are like technical failures you can have also in the real racing world. When you have any technical issues, here it's all about internet connection, hardware, steering wheel, pedals, and so on. And that was the problem for Team Heusingfeld. Unfortunately, now they're dropping back now, 6th position, so they are out, and that's the decision is probably made because there are 25 seconds in between SimRC and Frozen Speed. So we go now into this fight, which is Undici Scuderia and Core Sim Racing. Team RSO, they have to give up a little bit in the last couple of laps. And they are in their second last lap now. Now they are in their second last lap. As the leader, Laurin Heinrich is now in Mercedes Arena on the Grand Prix circuit. So behind this triple group. So they have to do one more lap after this. Laurin Heinrich, he's in his final lap. But these guys here, they have to do this lap and one more. Undici Scuderia, Manuel Weibel in front in the gray car. Behind there, it's in the orange and white car, Marius Golombek, Core Sim Racing. And behind there in the blue car, that's Team RSO, Nils Lorenz. 1, 2, and 3 in class SP10. Porsche. And behind these cars, it's the M4 GT4 of Marius Zug from BS Hype. Here we can see Undici Scuderia. It's a partnership with Team RSO. That's why you see the RSO sticker on the rear bumper, while we see in split screen the leader, Laurin Heinrich, in his last lap. And still here, decision is not made, but Koch just a couple of tenths in front of Core Sim Racing and Sindre. So also here, decision, as I say, is not made yet. While in front, Heinrich, 23 seconds, 29 seconds So 23 seconds to Heusingfeld, then BMW Bank and Chorus Messing is another 6 seconds gap. So 1 and 2 seems to be quite settled, but here, third position, it is not. And Laurin Heinrich this time, without any bad luck, getting hit by a lapped car until now, as we are having about half of the lap still to go. Or they have to go half of the lap still. But even though he can manage that. Now area Kallenhardt and in the triple right-hander miss into Werseifen, while we see here on the big split screen, on the bigger split screen, still the fight for third position. They go now into carousel, and if I say they, I mean SP10, and mistake by Golombek. Golombek made the mistake in carousel, so he went out of carousel a little bit too early. That would have been the chance for Lorenz, but he stood behind. But the gap to Weibel is increased. But now Golombek doesn't really focus to put pressure on Weibel. He really has to focus on his mirrors and Lorenz to keep him behind. They go into Brünnchen now. And here we see the replay. Golombek, yeah, he was a little bit too fast, it seems like. And he went out a little bit too early. He had to use the brakes, even though. And therefore, it was the chance for Lorenz to close the gap and maybe also try and attempt to pass Golombek. But still, the gap to Weibel in front, Udici Scuderia driver, it's not big enough, because on the long Döttinger Höhe, and they have to do the Döttinger Höhe twice, because it's their penultimate lap, while Laurin Heinrich in the split screen up left is in his last lap. You can use the slipstream, and Weibel is not that far away that it will not help Golombek to gain. Even more, the gap is just perfect to gain from the slipstream and maybe also make a move at the end of the long straight. Weibel goes to the right-hand side and tries to wave to give as less as slipstream as he can to Golombek and even more to Lorenz. Golombek now on our view right-hand side. Now dropping back to third. But as I say, 2 seconds to go, but they have to go one more lap. They have to do one more lap, so that final lap means final lap for the leader. They have to do one more lap. These guys have to cross the line now and one more time. Heinrich is on Döttinger Höhe now. So Heinrich, he will make it. Heinrich will bring it home for BS competition with his teammate Rainer Talvar. Here we can see him on the long Döttinger Höhe. And he brings home the victory and full points, maximum points. Here we go. That's the winner of the MAHLE 3-hour race of the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Championship, presented by Goodyear. Laurin Heinrich for BS competition together with his teammate Rainer Talver. And I think he's quite happy after that bad luck they had in round number 1 in the first race. Second position, but also they will be quite happy. Mercedes AMG Team HRT Heusingfeld. Jan Zenkowski is the driver at the moment, together with his teammates Mats Torge Hutzfeld and Adam Christodoulou. But also behind there, Niels Koch brings it home for Team BMW Bank, together with his teammates Kai Kaschube and Bruno Spengler. Chorus Sim Racing's Interessetzas. He's in fourth position, bringing it home in fourth position for his team, and together with Karl Jansson. And then H&R Team Urano, Max Hesse, together with Daniel Pastor. They are the drivers there. So congratulations, but again, what a race it was. Still there are fights going on the track, but hardware problems, internet connection problems, hard fights. So very, very nice to see what these guys showed us in the last 3 hours. On 7th position is BS competition number 90, the new entry, Beitske Fisser. She's the one bringing it home in 8th position. Sorry, in 8th position. No, in 7th position. Yeah, I was right. In 7th position for in the BMW Z4 Schnitzelalm. After a very good fight, they bring it home in 8th. Not even happy, not at all. Will the drivers be of this car? Sami Matti Drogen now in 9th position after hardware leading the race. Hardware problems for his teammate Dominik Steib. A penalty because of reckless driving, only finishing in 9th position. So they will not be happy at all. Florian Denzler will then be the next one. You can see him there for Mercedes AMG Team HRT AM Solution in front of his teammate Denny Chiusa. Chiusa's car doesn't really look that promising, as he had some issues as well, losing the car in Moot Corner, for example. So that's the SP9 class. Having a look in the other classes here, for example, the SP10 class, no, Cup 2 class. Ascher, Martin Ascher is leading there. Ascher with only a 7 seconds gap. I mean, it is okay, but when you have situations like this, you can easily lose this gap. Even though he's right behind that leading pack in SP10. And that is going to be interesting. So Martin Ascher, now that he passed the leading group, he probably will bring it home for Ascher Racing. We can see here on board with Manuel Weibe, Undici Scuderia, having full frame Team RSO in his back. And there it's Chorus Sim Racing Marius Golombek. in a class SP3T. I think it should be also quite clear for SimRC and Frozen Speed. And behind there, low grip racing, it should be all set. But here, it's still going on. And Golombek, in my opinion, Golombek has the best situation at the moment for the long Döttinger Höhe, because he has the most slipstream. He has double slipstream from RSO. And there was a change here. There was the change that Undici Scuderia, Manuel Weibel, dropped back. I think he dropped back on purpose. He dropped maybe back on purpose. They are working together. I think they are working together because they are kind of same team, let's say. And so it's both kind of team RSO and Chorus Sim Racing behind there. And yeah, it looks like that Weibel let them drop back more and more, that the slipstream is not too big for Marius Golombek. But that will be interesting. Here we have Lorenz, then Weibel, and then Golombek. In split screen, we see Martin Ascher from Cup 2 class. Ascher Racing, Schwalbenschwanz at the moment. Couple more corners to go for him. And here we go. Now into the Galgenkopf. Ascher is on the Döttinger Höhe. And now we can see. Now we can see if that works out. That does not work out. I promise. That gap is too big from leading Nils Lorenz. So I guess Weibel dropped back on purpose. On the outer line. What is going on, guys? Oh! What happened to the Cup 2 car? Why did he slow down so much? What a move, and now what a move it will be from Golombek. Maybe in the slipstream is only a couple meters to go, but it will be Lorenz. Nils Lorenz will be the winner in the SP10 in front of Marius Golombek and Manuel Weibel. Marius Zug will be the fourth in SP10. Also congratulations sure to Martin Ascher for Ascher Racing and his teammate Markus Irak. While we see here the replay, and then the Cup 2 car just slowed down, and both left and right hand side passed the car and passed each other as well. Wow, what a move it was. So Martin Ascher winning Cup 2 in front of Thomas Asmussen for H2 Performance SRT with his teammate Lukas Lippert. Here, as I said, BS Hype in fourth position. So what a race it was. Also in SP3T, Felix Luding winning in front of Steen Ledger, Frozen Speed and Low Grip Racing Team Christian Schmitz. That's the result. BS Competition winning in front of Mercedes-AMG Team HRT Heusingfeld, Team BMW Bank on a third. So that's the podium. Chorus Sim Racing in fourth, HNR Team Urano, Williams Esport, BS Competition, Schnitzelalm, MAHLE and Mercedes-AMG Team AM Solutions. And that's the top 10 in the SP9 class. What a race from, again, Heinrich and Talva, but also in terms of strategy from Christodoulou, Hutzfeld und Zentkowski. That's the top 10 in SP9, and we will shortly have a look in the other classes as well, as everybody crossed the line now. Everybody went back into the pit lane and has finished the race. We are very much looking forward. Here we see the next page of the result, while Asher Racing, as I say, Asher and Jirak in front of H2 Performance, SRT, Asmussen and Lippert. MRS GT Racing at Deutsche Payment on 3rd position. In the Cup 2 class. Here we can see them once again on 3rd. As I say, MRS GT Racing at Deutsche Payment. Florian Budin and Marvin Otterbach are the drivers. We as Racing Esports Red. We as E-Motorsport by H2P. Team Nürburgring Esports. Eibach Sim Racing. Sim Racing RC. Wolf Motorsport. And Novell Racing on 10th position. Mark Henritzi at his debut in 11th. And in SP10, it's Team RSO. Lorenz and Carstensen in front of Chorus Sim Racing, Golombek and Stix. Undici Scuderia in 3rd, Weibel and Nebel Sieg. BS Hype, VRA Racing, Racetech Performance, Keep On Racing, Iron Vision, Sim RC, VS Racing Esports. And that's the top 10. AMC Siegburg is 10th position. And last but not least, we have a look in SP3T. Sim RC with a comfortable win, Luding and Frank. Frozen Speed, Full Send Racing, Ledger and Bowl, and Low Grip Racing. Christian Schmitz alone in the car on 3rd. Raceline Sim Sports, Sim RC, Pro Sim, Team Heusingfeld with connection problems, unfortunately, in the lead of the race. Bernina Racing Team and SHK Racing Yellow in 8th position. That was the 3-hour race, the MAHLE 3-hour race of the Digital Nürburgring Endurance Championship. We have a little break. It's Christmas, it's New Year's, and we will be back in the mid of January and on the 16th of January with the TÜV Rheinland 3-hour race. And we are very much looking forward to that. Then we have another one in the end of February and in the beginning of March. So we are very much looking forward to welcome you back here then. Same time, 12:30 p.m. We will meet here on YouTube to see who is taking the win with a new car, with the M4 GT3, the new BMW, no Z4 anymore. So you should not miss that. And I thank you very much for watching and listening, and wishing you Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and see and hear you in the mid of January, on the 16th of January. Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas.